Remove the person, remove the memory. Take a look at Bill and Melinda Gates' divorce papers. Remember this name, Paul Weiss. 27 years of marriage, billions of dollars, all collapsing at once.
There was one report that said it was multiple affairs. Do you care to say anything about that?
You know, I think those are questions Bill needs to answer.
Okay.
Divorce is often when the darkest secrets come to light. Melinda Gates was obviously holding back in that first clip, but here you can listen for yourself how she really feels.
I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein. I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, you know, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful. But I made it very clear how I felt about him.
A source who claims to have worked for them told me that Melinda and Bill had multiple very intense fights about Jeffrey Epstein. While I have no way to confirm that, I'm inclined to believe it, because from her own words, Melinda tried to convince Bill to distance himself from Jeffrey. Instead of listening to her, Bill ended up choosing Epstein over his wife. Ask yourself, why would a man choose another man over his wife of 27 years? What did Epstein have that Bill Gates values so much? But the rabbit hole gets deeper. Let's circle back to Bill and Melinda's divorce papers. The name Paul Weiss appears here at the bottom. If that name sounds familiar to you, that's because it is. Paul Weiss represented Sam Bankman-Fried briefly before Sam Bankman-Fried hired Mark Cohen. Mark Cohen, by the way, is the same person who represented Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's #1 accomplice. The web is connected in more ways than you can even imagine. Paul Weiss is the only signature, by the way, that's missing. Why would you be hired if you're not even going to bother to show up to sign it? It appears that Paul's job was to try to prevent information about Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates from coming out, and therefore his presence was not necessary at signing. Unfortunately for Bill, though, he did not do a very good job of that. It gets worse, though. Take a look at this. On August 9th, 2019, Bill Gates posted this picture. Take a look at the expression on his face. Also, notice what book he is reading. It is a book called In Search of Memory. Erase the man, erase the memory. Guess what happened less than 24 hours after Bill Gates posted that picture?
Breaking news this hour, officials say multimillionaire Jeffrey Epstein has taken his own life.
Yesterday, he was found dead here, in his cell in Manhattan. The Federal Bureau of Prisons called it an apparent suicide. His victims say they have now been robbed of justice, as he will never face the consequences of the crimes he committed.
Then only a few days after that, Bill posted this rare selfie of him and his wife alone together in a picture. He has the biggest smile on his face, and the caption is a little daunting. It says, "Happy birthday to my favorite person at Melinda French Gates. You've had an amazing year. I can't wait to see how you top it." What exactly, though, did he get her for her birthday? Perhaps they were relieved that the one man who could take them down was gone. Perhaps it was no coincidence that all of the cameras randomly stopped working and the Justice Department seems to have swept everything under the rug involving Jeffrey Epstein and his mysterious death. I don't need to say anything out loud. You can connect the dots yourself.
As his body left hospital, countless questions remained. Given that Epstein was found semi-conscious in his cell last month, why was he still not on suicide watch at the time of his death?
One thing I will say for certain, though, is that it's only a matter of time now before Bill Gates finds himself on the other side of the iron bars. Bill Gates, if you're watching this right now, I highly encourage you to go ahead and come out and admit what has happened. Accept the consequences for your actions rather than having them built up inside you. I'm sure that is excruciating, and the only way to get rid of that is to just simply come out, confess everything that has happened, let that free, and then you can move forward and accept the consequences as you should. If you would like to support my efforts to expose the crimes of the richest and most powerful people on earth, make sure to become a member here on Twitter or subscribe to my YouTube channel, Matt Walsh Millionaire. Let's take this operation to another level. Make sure your notifications are on for part 2.